Welcome to the CEO Stylist podcast, where two unlikely CEOs come together and rewrite the narrative of what it means to be a CEO stylist. Yovanka, Loria and Kirsten Harris are on a mission, giving stylists permission to join the movement of artists breaking the mould of what is meant to be for the hair industry and creating the life and schedule of their dreams. Fast forward through many failed attempts and lessons learned in the process, it's time to level up the playing field. It's time to call BS on what's been done before. Yovanka and Kirsten are ready to share it all, defying the odds of the industry and teaching you how to do the same.
Welcome back to another episode of CEO Stylist. My name is Kirsten. Of course, you knew that. And
I'm Yovanka. Hey guys.
sorry, I put you on the spot. So today, let's jump right into it. So we're January and we're talking about how to lead a team when revenue's down, it's quiet times of year, how to pivot and, turn a shit day into a good day. So let's kick it off. Where are we going to start this? Because there's quite a lot.
Well, I feel like if we can break it up in two parts, because also obviously it's like off season and it's going to be a little bit of a quiet period, but I really wanted to just rein it in from last year because I think we've spoken to plenty of business owners as well, irrespective of whether they were in hair or beauty or any business. And it's something that I heard a lot last year. It's a stress that I heard from a lot of business owners that their revenue was down. So I thought we just wanted to touch on what we would do in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Go for it.
What would you do in that situation? I mean, I think all salons have been in that situation, whether it be last minute cancellations, whether it be a downturn in business because the doom and gloom at the end of 2023 around economy issues and rising interest rates and real issues like, rising interest rates, rise in living costs. So I know before you answer that question, I know the real undertone is people saying clients just aren't willing to spend, which I kind of challenge because I think the money's out there. I think the two significant things that have changed is regularity of appointments and where they're spending their money. So they're still spending it, but they're just extremely discerning about where.
Okay, there's a massive shift in consumer behaviour. And I think also, just looking at our business in a salon, because we are a high-end surface base, for us, we probably have about 70%. It's also where you position yourself. So for us, where we positioned ourselves, it's in a higher bracket where there's a lot more disposable income, but there's also about 30-40% where we have that, younger demographic, and not so much younger, but also first homeowners. It's their first home maybe 3-4 years ago. So what happened is when the interest rates came out from that low percentage rate and went up higher, there was a little bit of a kickback from clients. And the way that we knew this is because this is what we did. And when we had little pockets of quiet periods, I just doubled down. For me, I think it's really important to know, it's a mindset thing, I feel, because Tegan, who is my salon coordinator, I've worked with her. She's an or still is actually a hairdresser, hairstylist once a week. She works in a salon, but we worked together 10 years ago. And we were just reminiscing the other day because I told her we were doing this podcast. And I said, remember when we used to work for so-and-so, when there was a downturn in revenue, what this particular boss did. And this is something that I want to share to not do because he really led with fear and he practically threatened, the workers with their jobs, that their jobs were on the line. So he put fear into them, and that's what you don't want to do as a leader. That's a big
right.
Because it was such it was an awful feeling. It's so demotivating.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, I double down. I take it I see it as an opportunity, and I think this is what I want to share also, what you've been able to help me with as well, because I'll share the first few things of what I was doing and how my mind would work, because to me, busy breeds busy. So obviously our team grew and expanded so big, but there really was a downturn in client cancellations. So that's where I would go to the book. I'll look at the book and I'd be like thinking, oh my God, like it's luxury services because people couldn't afford it or whatever it was. I just had that little bit of a panic moment thinking, oh my God, are they going to be able to afford it? So what we did, we ended up doing an email where we were just getting feedback from clients. And that's where I was really able to find out exactly what position that they were in, even though a lot of them were embarrassed by it at first, but we were able to really filter in and really adjust what we were doing with our services. And that's where we were going from doing these big makeovers to adjusting it to where we were doing one rose and make it a little bit more affordable for them.
Yeah, right. That's smart.
So, and here's what I wanted to touch on as well. What happened before we had those little pockets of cancellation. This is what I wanted to speak about, always being at the forefront and being able to pivot in your business, because we got to a point early last year in the beginning when we were booked at capacity. So if a client did cancel, this is where I felt like we were also losing clients, because if they cancelled, we couldn't get them back in for at least another 8 to 10 weeks.
Because the future appointments were so tight. There wasn't
appointments
which is kind of a good and a bad problem in many. It means that you're working your clients really well in terms of creating good habits with rebooking. But
exactly,
yes, illness, holidays, staff get sick, all of that, it doesn't give you a lot of room to move.
Exactly. So that's where I guess I doubled down and, fast forward a few months into it is when I decided that, I wasn't looking for staff. They just presented themselves to me. And I thought, why not? We'll employ another senior as well. And then the 2 emerging stylists that we had, obviously, when clients cancel, because now I was able to facilitate if a client did cancel, they weren't able to get in with that particular stylist, but they could get in with an emerging stylist, or they could get in with the other senior as well, which that still takes time because you still have to train them in order to be able to take those clients. You can't
Which is an investment. It's an investment in time and money, because they're not necessarily fully productive on the floor either.
But there's 2 or 3 things that I'm going to share that we did, and one of them was you opening up my mind to it. And this is one thing. I mean, we even did it only a couple of weeks ago where one of them was a little bit quiet during the day. And we said, why don't you jump onto one of those forums, a Facebook forum? Let's put
the groups, the private community groups.
Yeah, because a lot of the girls still needed to do a little bit of color training. We weren't even putting a call out for extensions. We were putting a call out for color.
Right.
And that client ended up coming. Again, we were offering it at a low service, but I said to the girls, let's treat this client like it's a paying client and still go through the process of what we do, which is still delivering value from the moment that they come in, or before they come in, moment they come in, still do proper consultation. And it was actually beautiful to see, because this client who came in at a lower end service for color ended up sending two or three of her family members. And then 2 of those family members ended up booking in for hair extensions.
There you go. Power of referral right there. Double strategy.
So it just goes to show someone like me who was always a little bit more mindful of not, because you get into that where you have a high ticket value and you're like, you don't want to be perceived as offering discount and services without a fair exchange of value.
And you're talking about in those groups because they're so public.
100% in those groups because they're so public.
Yeah.
Or even on social media, it was something that I never wanted to do, to be offering discounts, because I didn't want to be seen as a Harris Scarfs or a lower end, and didn't want to devalue what, most of the seniors were able to do, because it was going to send a mixed message, I thought.
I love how she uses the word Harris Scarfs.
Well, Harris Scarfs, where they're known, like I won't buy anything unless I'm, because it's always on sale, right?
Oh, so because you're conditioned to sale. I get that, which is a whole nother conversation, when you go to the point where you're always on promo.
100%. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the one thing that we did. And also the other thing that you taught me.
Goodness,
do you want to share it, or do you want me to?
I don't even know what you're going to say.
It's interesting, because this is what happened, because now, we had cancellations, and I always said to the girls, to the salon coordinator, if we're able to fill that spot, we're not going to charge the client, right? because depending on when.
Meaning the client that's cancelled at the last minute, if you can fill it, yeah, sure.
And this is where you really opened up my mind, because why don't you look internally, and why don't you do, now that we implemented Forest, we were able to do some internal campaigns. Means, you can do it through a text message. You can just do a blast out text message, or you can do a blast out email campaign and offer specific packages or offer specific, dare I say, discounts to a particular stylist.
It's a sexier word than discount, right?
That's right. But the way that you proposed it to me, I was like, look, I'm not going to, now that I've got a full-fledged team and full-fledged expenses and, everything comes to mind, because normally when I first saw the gaps in the day of the new stylists that I was trying to build, and maybe even a couple of the emerging stylists, I was thinking, look, external.
That's right. Meaning, let's run an ad campaign to attract brand new business.
Attract brand new clients.
So
yeah.
What you're actually saying, now I get where you're going with this. It's the conversation we said, have a look at your reporting and have a look at your lost clients. And that's where I always start with any new client that we onboard. We have a look at retargeting and re-engaging with their existing clients, because they've all built databases. It doesn't matter where they've come from, but they've had at least one service in the business. They've had one experience.
Within that, what you're saying, so with Forest, just so we can be a little bit clear, you can do a reporting where if a client hasn't been in to see you for 3 months or 6 months, you can do a promotion to retarget those clients.
Yeah,
and
just run the report. It's eye-watering at times.
Eye-watering. So we ran promotions and we got some existing clients back from it just by running that promotion.
Correct. People are distracted by the scroll. They go, shit. Now I've just received an SMS or an email, because email marketing's not dead. I can 100% guarantee that. And it's like, yeah, of course, I'm so due. Or you've planted the seed, which is really the whole point of promotions, catalogs. Have a look at those catalogs, right? Just deviating for a minute. Audi. So you remember when the concept of Audi came up, and Audi positioned themselves in the market as that discount supermarket. Things aren't beautifully merchandised. You have to, like the old days of when I lived in Melbourne, when, Audi was around like 20 years ago, stock used to come out on pallets. It was literally, there was very minimal shelving back then. It was pallets and boxes. And you were like, so you can imagine how you're feeling when you've come out of an experience from one of your mainstream brand supermarkets, or even like the higher end supermarkets. And then you're like going to Audi and it's all on pallets, and you're diving through boxes. But what they quickly did was created catalogs. So, you can go and buy your grocery, your staple grocery items, and then you can buy a diving kit, because who doesn't need a diving kit from Audi? And that was the point of those catalogs. It's like all that, like the stuff, and we in our house we call it Audi prices. Like, go and buy your grocery items, and my husband will come home with an Audi price. It'll be, gardening forks or socks to winter socks, or I don't wear it, but I know plenty of people that wear the gym gear or diving gear or camping gear. Like, what concept could you buy groceries and those kind of items? And that was the point of their catalog. And if you have a look at their catalog now, it's not necessarily discount. They just position it that way, that's their pricing, and they plant the seed. So even if you didn't know that you wanted camping gear, you're suddenly having this thought bubble about, oh, I could buy that camping gear at Audi and go, off and take my family. That's the same as this. So it's not necessarily discounting. It's the point of putting a promotion together and planting the seed with your audience.
That's why when we first did it, I was like, holy crap, this actually does work.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is
How much did that cost you, that campaign?
Well, depending if it was text messages, because text message you pay for a little bit, but email you don't actually pay for anything.
Email was free. Yeah.
Email was free, apart from, the staff that you're hiring, that it takes the time to put it together, which is really nothing. Once it's
set
up,
it just makes them more productive in a day, which 100%. We love that. Yeah.
And this is the shifting the focus in the right way. And it really, really, it just blew my mind. I was like, wow, this really does work. And I will just say, because last year, another thing that you taught me, last year, obviously with Christmas discounts and Thanksgiving, it's always, a 30% or 40%. It always comes
Friday. Yeah.
Black Friday, yeah. Did I say Black Friday? It always
Oh, you
comes.
said Thanksgiving, but the same.
Oh, where
She
the hell?
put her New York hat on still, but it's the
I,
same.
I,
Like
yeah,
it's
American.
Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh my God, lost
Just
it.
for those that don't know why Black Friday was created in the first place, it really
It
was
is.
an American.
It is. We've inherited it.
It's an American activation. We've just, like Halloween, we've just run with it. And it was,
Of course.
I think 2023, from my perspective, before you say what you're about to say, that Black Friday sale was the biggest I've ever felt. Like, I think I had something like 90 text messages by the end of that period. And Black Friday is no longer a 4-day, or, was for Cyber Weekend, was no longer, it's moved from a 4-day promotion to, pretty sure it started at the beginning of November. There's no boundaries now.
So whenever we did a promotion or a package, it would always be a dollar value.
Yeah. And the reason for that is because if your audience isn't familiar with your base pricing and you say save 40%, they don't really know what that equates to in dollars. I do think percentage can have it does have a place in some business models for sure. So the beauty industry, body contouring, they are really good at it. And despite all, like, if someone says 50% off, you kind of go, well, common sense would tell you that seems like a pretty good deal, no matter what your price is.
What it is, of course. But I do, coming from our point of view, I always like the dollar value, especially if clients are familiar with what your prices or your service based, prices are. So I think that was really another pivotal thing that I implemented. I was like, wow, I just had to shake off that perception of what I thought, wasn't going to work, but it really, really did work. And there's a place for it. So at least that way we will be able to retain a whole bunch of clients, because if we're able to fill that spot, we would message them and say, hey, just letting you know we're able to fill your spot. We're no longer charging you for your appointment.
Yeah, but amazing. Like, that's that amazing outcome for the client that missed their appointment or couldn't show up. So
Exactly.
if they had genuine reasons for not, that's, I
Right.
mean, I think, because I don't think anyone wants to unfairly or fairly, I shouldn't say unfairly, charge a late cancellation. I don't think anyone would feel good about it, no matter what the reasons for it.
Correct.
And it just creates that animosity with clients too, right? And they're like, shit,
You always hear, are they just, making money on me? It's not about that.
No. And I see both sides. Like, I definitely see both sides, because it's very difficult to fill a 4-hour appointment with 20
Correct.
minutes notice.
It's also very difficult. If you're sick, you're like,
Correct.
so we do see both sides. It's really been a challenge to meet in the middle, but I feel like adopting this new philosophy or being open to it is where I feel like, that's why we say lead with leadership. Don't lead from fear, because when you lead from fear, you're going to act and you're going to make decisions that might backfire, and
Absolutely.
they're not congruent with your integrity. As whereas this, if once you have this and it's planned out and it's thought out, it really is a powerful way to be able to retain and also be able to bring in, like you're saying, not just on the days if it happens or tomorrow if it's a cancellation, but forecast, like January where it's quiet. So you're saying you're working, we had a conversation before where you're like in November, you already have that conversation with your clients where you're already pre-planning for January.
We absolutely are. Most service-based businesses are at capacity in December. So we switch off all paid ad campaigns because it's only going to drive traffic and it'll end in disappointment. So I feel like that's a waste of money. What we transitioned to in November and December was planning out now, like this month and February, because that's the lull in the industry. And even with kids going back to school, the bills start coming in, utility bills are due in February. So money is tight. It starts to ease up again in March. And then service-based businesses get hit with public holidays. So we've got long weekend, then we've got Easter, and we've got Anzac Day. It's a killer, and then before you know it, your team is starting to look at that mid-year break. So you kind of can't catch it. You can never really catch up until the second half of the year. So it's really about, making sure that you're re-engaging with your clients all the time, existing clients, lost clients. And then that also filters out, like, people will unsubscribe. If they don't want to hear from you, it is a good way of cleaning out your database as well. They'll unsubscribe. And then, of course, I'm a huge advocate for paid ad campaigns, but not at the expense of not dealing with your existing
For sure. Can
customer
I
base.
ask you as well, what are the other two key things as well that you suggest to your clients? Well, not two or three, because I know there's a couple more.
For this time of year?
Yeah.
So if you want to do a discount, January and February is the time to do it. But you have to, like, it's got to be now. You've really got to have that plan in place. So if you're bold enough to be able to put it on socials, go for it and do it, and make sure you have a strategy. If you're doing anything like new client vouchers, I see it a lot, especially in the hair space, but I see it like salons giving money away without an exchange of information. And by that, I mean, get an email address at the very least. You do need to have a clear strategy, which is why a lot of businesses will outsource this part of the marketing, because they genuinely don't know how to connect all those dots. The other thing to do is, back to your existing clients, is upsell them a treatment or a service or a product they need. Fun campaigns. It could be retail. It could be, buy two and get 50% off the third if you want to get rid of some of your retail products because your supplier bills are due as well. You might do run a promotion on prepaid packages or memberships is another way. Yes, so memberships is a really good way of, one, it locks your VIP, let's call it your VIP clients into a future plan of their appointments. And two, it staggers out their payments. So by setting up memberships, let's say with a brand like SalonPay, you can then forward plan to an extent. You can forward plan what their appointments are. Let's assume they're having pretty much the same thing done every time they come in, or you can plan and go every second appointment they're having, I'll use a hair one, half head of foils, in between they're just having a retouch. So forward plan that and then set up like a membership. So they're paying it weekly. And by the time they get to their future appointment, let's say it's 8 or 12 or 15 weeks away, they've already got a credit in place. So, and a brand like SalonPay, where you could literally set up individual memberships per client, because that's the other thing. I know that they can be tricky at times to set up, because it's like, well, they've had a service today, but they might change their mind. Cool. As long as they've actually got credit in place, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And you've got someone else managing that. So this is not a sponsored advertising campaign for SalonPay, by the way. I'm just using it as an example. It's better than managing it yourself, like in the event that there's a default payment. If you've got time, good on you. But if you don't, outsource that stuff. So that's another way. Giveaways and competitions is another way of generating eyes on your page. If you're, I love giveaways from that perspective, but I dislike them when it's a giveaway on a page and all it is like and follow, because to me, that's just ego. Like, who gives a shit how many likes and follows you get?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. What did you say? Vanity metric. It is.
Do you want to just maybe explain, when you say the strategy, you mean still collecting the database?
Still collecting database. Enter them into a draw to win a prize, a genuine prize. Sure, one of the requirements could be like and follow my page, tag a bestie for an extra, entry into the competition, but get their email address into a pool where you can start, before that competition's even drawn, you can start engaging with them and introducing them into your business the best way. And, for our clients, we do that through email marketing. We'll do it through bot messenger program, where it's an automated service. So, it's set up, it sits in their DMs.
But it starts that customer journey with them, where they're also finding out about you, your brand, and your business.
That's it. And you don't, it's not invasive by no means at all. They've already given consent to subscribe. So we do all of that on the way in. They get excited because generally with a competition giveaway, it's something very generous that's on offer. And, at the end of the day, you love being able to give that prize away, but also then you're left with a great database that you can start targeting. And I say that, no, I shouldn't say it that way. Start engaging with, I say targeting because that's a marketing phrase. Yeah. Engaging and with a call to action to invite them in. So whether or not that's, like, I call it the booby prize, the backup prize, where every entry wins something. So it could be a voucher to come and experience a service.
Correct.
So,
Can I just add, sorry, did you
yeah.
finish?
No, that's
I don't want to cut you off. I get excited and I
gets
cut
exciting.
you off a lot. But I do want to. I do want our industry to understand how powerful this is, because I feel like there's been a massive disconnect where everyone's just relied so heavily just on social media.
Yeah, on Instagram and these appointments that they put on their stories going, I've got a 10 o'clock available for a half head of foils. Like,
And the reality is the algorithm is fucking with everyone,
yeah,
no matter how big you are, how small you are. It's just all over the place. We hear
yeah.
it all the time. So, like you say, it's not the marketing strategy, it's just a marketing
Marketing.
strategy.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's part of it. But in this day and age, if you don't get on, if you don't open your mind up to all that's available, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And equally, if we're talking about social media, and we've chatted about this a lot, where you do look at bios of stylists, and let's call them the rock star stylists out there that go closed books, not taking new clients. I
Mhm.
cringe. I cringe
Yeah,
at that, because it's like, well, one day, honey, you're going to have a gap in your business and
exactly.
you're going to wonder what the fuck to do with it.
And then you look kind of like a fool promoting, like asking
No
for.
clients. Oh, hang on, I've got space open now. Like, say nothing.
Mm.
If you are full, that's fabulous. Like, that's such a great position to be in for you. But it's probably a bit of a
Also,
bummer if you're trying to get in.
I beg to differ, because what also happens one day when you rise your prices, can you guarantee that you're going to retain
No,
100%?
and that's why I was getting. She cut me off again, but that's okay. No, so what I was saying was, it's good. Like, it's good for the operator that's got a business, that they can walk into their salon and they know that they've got a full business. But the minute they don't have full books, then what happens? So I'm always an advocate for, no matter where you are in that stage of your business, have a strategy to attract new clients always, and have a strategy to nurture your existing. So
Exactly.
whether or not, even if you are full, that's fine, but still don't give the perception that you can't take on new clients.
It's a change, like we say, consumer behavior. And look at the day and age that we're in. There's so many options out there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, they're gonna at some point look to go somewhere else. You're not going to be able to retain the clients like you used to, because there's so many amazing. I feel like the industry has leveled up in a massive way as
Yeah.
well. So you have to do your part to always stay ahead of the curve and really stay in contact with your clients and come up with, clever ways to be able to, offer them, to me, it's like adding value as well. You're always adding value. But this is where I had to learn that just because I was building a new stylist or building those quiet periods, I wasn't devaluing what I was doing just by offering the packages or the promotions.
And I'll say we as consumers, because I sit in that market, although I'm happy with my hairdresser. We have, like, the greatest outcome, I think, from COVID, and we'll talk about the hair industry. This did not impact beauty in the same way. Is that, the COVID pivot was, there is a lot more solo operators out there now. And I can't even think what the term is, but what is it? Indie,
And
right?
it's like a short term for independent stylists.
Yeah, so indie, so that was the biggest thing. So we have a lot of choice now as consumers. So that's where we do really have to get clear on our strategy, who our client is, what we're offering, what our future direction is, brands that we're aligning to, where we're positioned in the market, what activations we're doing, all of that, because we have so much choice. This is where, it might be contrary to unpopular opinion, but I look at feeds in social media, and this is probably going a bit off track. And particularly through COVID, I did see a lot of entertainment, and I'll call it entertainment, where reels are concerned. And I always question it, going, I think reels are extremely valuable in a service-based business, but sometimes I wonder to what expense, like in
Are
terms
you
of
talking about, do you mean if someone was trying to go viral? Is that what you mean?
trying to go viral or just be entertaining, but like, is it a missed message in terms of you being entertaining? Is it attracting clients, or are
I
you being entertaining for entertaining's sake? And I think, purely out of boredom, this was this was done. And reels blew up, if you remember, through COVID, and they've not gone away. What the point of, I guess, raising it is now we've come full circle where things have settled down to a certain point where those that aren't as active in that space are really struggling to get seen and heard.
Interesting. That's a good point. Because my take on that was, you hear it all the time, like now I have to be a comedian to be able to shop on social media.
Yeah.
I think it was more coming. I think there was a little bit more coming from like show people your personality.
Yeah.
But then anything, it just got taken to a whole nother level with, the whole TikTok era, and this is really going off track.
Yeah.
But it is.
But they're all lead gen strategy, right?
Well, I don't know if they were.
Well, no, they are now. That's what they're used for. Like, there's TikTok shop and
viral. You mean
not even like service-based businesses are using TikTok and reels and stories every day as a way to generate new clients, with the expectation that new clients that have had nothing to do with your business before will go, yeah, I'm going to sign up, or yeah, I'm going to use you. But like if it's just for entertainment's sake, I challenge that.
Fine line.
We are, as consumers, we're conditioned based on an offer, but where people misunderstand this, they go offer equals discount. That's not what this is about. Correct. It's just presenting the offer, and if you've got your marketing worked out properly, you're going to be attracting the right audience.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I think that's super important. So what do you want to end with? What tip do you want to give?
So why we're talking about social media, I think right now in January, there's a few things that need to happen. One, I mean, we didn't cover off pricing, but I'm going to leave a few tidbits for people to look at in their business, especially in the hair industry. But, you need to review your pricing if you haven't already, and implement a tiered pricing structure. As the salon director or owner, you must have a different pricing strategy to your juniors. So, and have that, to what you were saying before, have a pricing model in place for your junior stylists that they can start building out their own client base as well. So they shouldn't be, or you shouldn't be as the owner, charging the same price as an emerging stylist or a junior that's 1 to 2 years experience. That's number one. So nailing your social media, leveraging your social media, making sure you show up. And by that, I don't mean posting every day. I just mean posting quality, even if it's 3 times a week is great. Showing up on stories is great. Nailing your email marketing, re-engaging with your clients. If you haven't done it for a while, just rip the Band-Aid, write the welcome to 2024. For those that haven't been into our salon for a long time, here we are. Just that whole re-engagement process, people are appreciating it. And if they don't, they'll unsubscribe themselves. And cool, that's great. Cleans out your database. So then you know what you're working with. So what else? Host a VIP night, if that's something that you could turn around really quickly, like in a few weeks. Great time to do it. People are very social through summer. Do that.
You want to keep drinking.
They want to so do that. Re-engage them into the salon. Make it a fun night. People love entertaining, education, I should say, they love entertaining, right? But the education part's really important. So I think as a consumer, people want to know how to look after their hair, style their hair, up styles, curling wands. God, I'd love to sit in a session where someone teaches me how to use a curling wand.
That a lot. I should really put that together.
Yeah, something like that is really good. Don't give them like a cheesy sale process, like genuinely bring them in.
Giving back to your clients as well.
Giving back to and offer them a curling one, like whatever they're going to use to style in the salon, offered for them to buy it. Yeah, that's a strategy. I think they're great ideas. So
I love that.
That's about it. I don't know whether you've got anything to add.
For the boxes, I don't think I have anything else to add. I think the main thing for me is because I've been, around it for so long with maybe the wrong leaders, but I just think for me it's more, don't lead with fear, lead with innovation. And even someone like me who wasn't maybe open to things, look what happens when you open yourself up, right? So things have changed so much. So I think the bottom line is, get to know your clients, get to know your marketing, get to know your pivots. And I'm going to leave it at that.
And happy 2024.
Happy 2024, happy business building. And if you guys need, if you guys want to know some, any information, you can always reach out to Kirsten or myself as always.
And we do answer our DMs, right? We don't have like a robot. You and I, we maybe have 1 or 2 of our assistants that will help us, but it's genuinely us.
Yeah.
If anyone needs some guidance, whether you're a client or not, I'm love helping. So
Love that.
show up, let me know if you need any help. Happy to have a chat.
Amazing.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Happy business building.
Thank you for listening.